The movie starts by introducing an old man named Damien. He is also a wealthy man with endless riches. At that moment, Damien was having lunch with his friend, Martin, at a luxurious restaurant. Damien told his friend that he had less than 6 months to live because he was suffering from a terminal illness. After finishing their meal, Damien asked Martin about body swapping, but Martin knew nothing about it, so Damien told him to forget about it. On the way, Damien opened a business card named Phoenix with a reachable phone number. In short, Damien found himself at Phoenix Corporation managed by a man named Albright, who was a doctor. This doctor owned a machine capable of swapping human bodies with new genetic engineering. Damien also wondered about the status of this company, why it was kept secret from the public, if it was indeed something true and could help people out there who needed it. However, the question remained unanswered, and the doctor explained that the cost of body swapping was very expensive. Only those with eternal wealth could afford it. Damien continued to contemplate. Then he met his only daughter named Claire. He planned to take Claire out for a stroll amidst his busy days before his last moments, but Claire declined due to her busy work schedule. Disappointed by that, Damien found information on the internet about a speech by Dr. Francis regarding body swapping. However, before he finished listening to it, Damien suddenly coughed up blood and was rushed to the hospital. Seeing his critical condition, Damien contacted Dr. Albright and agreed to the body swap. However, the doctor imposed a condition that Damien must be declared dead, and his death must be witnessed by the public. In short, after Damien recovered, he contacted his friend, Martin, to accompany him for lunch at a place designated by Damien. Then Damien pretended to be sick, witnessed by his friend and others there. Then he was taken by an ambulance. However, this ambulance headed towards the Phoenix Corporation where Albright was located. Damien was directed to enter a machine simultaneously with his new genetic body for the body transfer process. The body transfer process was successful. Damien is now in a new, youthful body. However, he seems like a newborn baby and needs a few days to get used to moving his new body. Every day, Damien was directed to practice. Eventually, Damien began to get used to moving his body. When Damien was ready to enjoy his new life with his youthful body, he was given a new identity with the name Edward. Damien was asked to memorize everything that had been given to him. The body transfer had a side effect of hallucination, so Damien was given capsules to take as instructed by the doctor to alleviate the hallucinations. Now, Damien lives in a house provided by Dr. Albright. He has also transferred all of Damien's savings so Damien can enjoy his wealth in his new body. Excitedly, Damien began his activities by playing basketball and socializing with the surrounding community. He also met a man named Anton who lived nearby.
Come back, you'll be disappointed.
That night, Damien also tried to have fun with girls he hadn't been able to get for 52 years due to his age. Because of his wealth and his youthful body, Damien is free to do anything with anyone, anytime. He can even change partners as he wishes. He also never forgets to take the capsules provided by Dr. Albright every week. Until one day, when Damien missed his beloved daughter, he tried to contact her. However, he didn't dare to reveal his identity and just mentioned his daughter's name once before hanging up the phone. After that, Damien experienced hallucinations because he was late in taking his medication. Then he fainted before he could take the medicine. In his hallucination, he seemed to already have a family, living with his wife and sick daughter. He also had a profession as a soldier. After he regained consciousness, he immediately took his medication. The next day, Damien consulted with Dr. Albright about his hallucinations. However, the doctor seemed to know what was in his hallucinations, which made Damien suspicious. The doctor suggested changing the scenery by going to Hawaii and provided additional capsules to alleviate his hallucinations. However, Damien didn't follow the doctor's advice and searched for the place in his hallucinations. Long story short, Damien headed to the destination and found the exact place from his hallucination. There was only one house there, but no one was around, and Damien tried to enter. Turns out, the door wasn't locked. Damien was surprised to see a photo of himself there. It turned out his youthful body belonged to someone else, not a genetically engineered body as claimed by Dr. Albright. When a woman who also owned the house returned, she pointed a pistol at Damien. She thought Damien was a bad person for entering the house without permission. However, after seeing his face, the woman was shocked because her husband had come back to life after being declared dead for a long time. Thinking that the woman, named Madeline, was with someone from outside, it turned out to be an uninvited guest who wanted to capture Damien and Madeline. All of this was Dr. Albright's doing, who sent Anton to silence them. Here, Anton explained that if Damien was told that his youthful body belonged to someone else, Damien would surely not want to exchange bodies. Hearing that, Damien understood why the company hid everything from the public. Anton asked Damien to surrender to Dr. Albright. However, after seeing the situation outside the house, Damien realized that he would be eliminated because he knew the secret. Eventually, Damien fought back and fled with Madeline. Damien didn't realize that he could defend himself because his youthful body used to belong to Mark, who had been in the military. Anton ordered his men to burn down the house so Damien would come out and surrender. However, Damien, who noticed a gap beneath the house, launched an attack and drove them away. After everything was safe, Damien didn't want to say anything to Madeline and left her. However, out of pity, Damien eventually invited Madeline to come with him, along with her young daughter who had just returned from school. In an inn, they rested. However, Damien searched for information about Dr. Francis, which had previously been postponed due to illness when he was looking. After watching the video of Dr. Francis giving a speech, Damien concluded that Dr. Francis had swapped bodies with Dr. Albright. This was because Dr. Francis was reported dead in public. The next day, Damien planned to visit Dr. Francis's wife and ask about Dr. Francis. However, his wife had Alzheimer's disease and was disturbed when talking about his. At that moment, Dr. Francis, who had swapped bodies with Dr. Albright, received news from his subordinate that Damien was at his wife's house. Then, promptly, Dr. Albright came and captured him. Because Damien didn't take his medication, he started hallucinating again. However, Madeline came to rescue Damien. Turns out, the man was Anton with his new body, as his old one had been burned when facing Damien at Madeline's house. Then Madeline heard the fact that the one with her was not her real husband, but an old man who had exchanged bodies with her husband. So Madeline's husband named Mark, whose body is now being used by Damien, deliberately sacrificed himself to be used as a body replacement material. This is because their daughter is sick and they couldn't afford medical treatment. Eventually, Mark was declared dead and his body was used by Damien. Madeline was sad about it, and after she found out everything, they sought refuge at Damien's friend Martin's place. Damien explained the chronology of his body swap. Initially, Martin didn't believe, but eventually he believed after Damien recounted all their past memories together.
You already closed one deal tonight.
Damien found a mirror covered by curtains, it's a bit confusing what it means because it's unclear here. In essence, Damien immediately rushed out of Martin's house upon discovering that there was Martin's son who should have died 2 years ago. It turns out the boy is indeed Martin's son, and his body has been replaced. However, Martin didn't know that the body came from someone else, not a genetically engineered one resembling a human. This has left Martin shocked, and Damien's presence has been discovered by Dr. Albright. Immediately, Damien used Martin's car to buy time so that Albright's henchmen couldn't catch up to him. Meanwhile, Madeline and her daughter accompanied Martin through the bushes. Later, they would meet at the restaurant near the truck stop. Damien managed to defeat Albright's henchmen with his driving skills. Then he immediately headed to the planned location. However, Madeline and her daughter were kidnapped by Albright's henchmen after leaving Martin first, so Martin couldn't protect them.
In the car!
What?
At the meeting place, Damien found Martin alone. Martin assumed Madeline was taken to Albright's laboratory, but they didn't know where it was. However, Martin had an idea to use Damien's body memory by not taking the capsule. Thus, the hallucinations would become stronger. Martin explained that he had also obtained the composition of the medicine, which he could get while in Mexico. In short, Damien has been hallucinating and found the location of the laboratory to save Madeline. Damien found Anton's injured body, which was to be exchanged with a new one. Therefore, Dr. Albright, who had prepared a new body for Anton, abandoned his intention and planned to exchange it with Damien's current body. This made Damien angry. He shot Albright, but the bullet bounced off due to bulletproof glass. Then Damien was captured and forced into the body exchange machine. Before that, Damien put a bullet into his mouth because the machine wouldn't function if there was any metal object inside. After the machine stopped, Dr. Albright made sure that Anton had swapped bodies by asking him to reveal his identity. However, in reality, Damien was just pretending that he had swapped bodies. Then, Damien headed to where Madeline was with information from another one of Albright's henchmen. Upon arrival, Damien promptly took them away. Damien faced off with Dr. Albright, where it was explained that without taking the capsule within a certain time frame, his body would be reclaimed by its original owner. However, the capsule could only be obtained from Dr. Albright. Since Damien already knew the recipe for that capsule, mercilessly, he burned through the bulletproof glass, piercing it and burning Dr. Albright. In the end, Damien instructed Madeline and their daughter to go to an island while he stayed behind. Damien made a video for the original owner of his body, named Mark, so Damien didn't take the capsules for some time, allowing Mark to regain control of his body. After that, Mark went to the island where his wife and daughter were, the location of which had been informed by Damien, and the movie ends.